Hey-oh, it's 420. That's what it is. It's 420. And I don't know what significance that date has. I do know it's got something to do with smoking dope. But I don't smoke dope, so it's okay. But I will tell you this. Last year when we did the rides for the viewers, we had a guy named Eric come on. And I want to say, I think his last name is Escuela. I'm not 100% sure on that. But Eric's a cool dude. And Eric got married today. So congratulations to the newlyweds. Hope you guys have a long life together, because remember, it's easy to get there. It's difficult to keep it. So there you go. And then we're moving on. So the next thing we got is this week, we don't have a guest. We have, again, viewers' rides. We figured we'd try it again. We got 3 people coming on that we're going to give some time to. We're going to talk about their cars, tell lies with them, and we're going to carry on. And you guys will meet them as we go. So let's go to a commercial break. We're going to bring John in, and we're going to tell some more lies between me and John before we start the show. So hold on. Enjoy the ride. Let's do this. It's 420.
For more than 25 years, DEI has been controlling heat and sound, all with products developed to protect components and drivers alike, and has become the standard by which all heat and sound control is measured. Each product is developed with solutions to problems in mind. DEI knows when it comes to making and keeping horsepower, heat is the enemy. Innovative technology allows us to develop the highest quality products, quality driven, and that's why the best builders and race teams in the world use DEI.
John?
What? I feel like I should be smoking weed listening to your intro. What the fuck? Yeah, Eric is a good dude, though. And he get married on 420. You know what? He will probably forget his anniversary. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's going to be fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be as high as a kite. What do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a farm out there. He's growing weed.
Yeah. He's invested in the 420 thing. He's deep in it. What we need to do is we need to hook Eric up with Brent and Pop-Tart.
Yeah. They would get along well.
They would get along phenomenal.
Especially Pork Chop. Pork Chop and him would get along really
exactly. Good. You have consumers and you have suppliers. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's basic econ.
It reminded me, I reached out to Jim Belushi. Sent him an email.
No.
Yeah, Jim Belushi would be a good guest.
Yeah,
he has Belushi Farms. He does the same thing. I think it's on a.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got a show on Disco.
Didn't know that.
He grows weed, and they got a show about him. I mean, it's him doing a lot of improv and shit, but it's still a show. Always liked him. What'd I do with Lou? Is he gone? Oh boy, what did we do? We dropped him. Anyhow, we got a couple guests coming on. We're going to talk about their rides. The first one up is Bruce and what happened to you?
I don't know. The screen went white and said that I was kicked out of the studio and I had to go back in.
Probably for foul language.
Yeah, well, you know. I sent Brad. Remember I told you got everybody will love this. Remember I told you the other day, John, that Facebook, this whole gray account thing.
Yeah.
I got an email 7 hours ago. I just sent it to Brad. They're going to permanently delete it if I don't reply to them. I have no idea what I'm supposed to reply.
No, I saw that. That's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah, ignore it. If anything, we'll start back up from zero.
Okay. I have no idea. No idea.
But speaking of 420.
Okay.
Did you see, I'm sure you heard, Elon's trying to buy Twitter.
Yes.
Did you notice that he offered 54.20
yeah.
per share?
Yeah.
That's not by accident. He says, that's it. I'm topped out at 54.20.
Yeah.
And nobody put it together. No, he's talking about Rogan, him smoking weed. Yeah, I know.
We did.
Yeah, I know.
We did. Yeah. Because we're ahead of the power curve.
But what a crazy week when you look at that of people freaking out and don't want free speech. Of course, the left are saying, we don't want conservatives to get on here because it's all hate speech. It's misinformation. It's still censorship, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah. Well, the problem, man, look, here's the thing. Like I was watching somebody and they were talking about this lady, Taylor Lorenz. She looks like she's 20 something. And all they were saying is that she does hit pieces trying to cancel people out. And then somebody was like, hey, you need to knock it off, I guess. And she's on camera doing this interview. She's crying about it was so traumatic and she's got PTSD. And I'm like,
oh, I saw part
like,
of that.
You're a fucking idiot. I ain't got time for this nonsense.
I got to tell you, I think people are going out of their way to be crazy. They're just goofy. People are getting goofy by the second.
Mm-hmm.
And here's part of the problem, because we didn't have this craziness before the internet. People had to talk. You had to see your neighbor before the cell phones, the whole thing, all that shit was picking up.
Yep.
But when you have a cell phone, when you're actually looking at the news, you don't get all the news. You only get the news that it thinks you like.
Yeah.
So realistically, with your phone, and people got their nose buried in their phone.
Oh, yeah.
That world is tailored towards them.
Yeah.
So they think the world agrees with their views because that's all that shows up on their timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So then when they see somebody talking something different than what's in their face 24/7, they start to go, oh, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
This is why, because everything I'm touching, feeling, Facebook, everything, the ads, everything are geared towards what I'm thinking, which is having people think that everybody thinks as they do.
Yeah.
Which is having people whacked out to new ideas or anything that's in the middle.
Well, and the thing
there's no compromise.
That's why they get so bent out of shape when someone comes along and doesn't agree with them. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's why they get all bent out of shape, because they think that their opinion is the only one that matters. Because that's the only opinion they have, because they're getting drilled into their head.
Yeah, saying everybody agrees with you. You're right.
Right. Yeah.
The thing that I think is crazy is the whole censorship thing, and then those same people that are for censorship are trying to talk to your 5-year-old kid about sex.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I got a problem with that. A teacher's job is not to talk about their boyfriend and being butt pirates and all that. I don't care. I have no problem with gays. I have no problem with them at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's both women. As long as both women are hot, hey, have a good time. Be married. Have a great time. But I got to draw the line. I got to draw the line on that, because it's not their business to talk to someone else's kid about that. 15 years ago, you'd be a pedophile. You would get your ass kicked. You know what I mean? And you can't tell me that. I mean, they're trying to normalize it. You can't tell me that it's normal when the prison population, if you're a pedophile, you get put in solitary confinement for your own safety because they'll kill you. So it ain't right. You can't tell me that it's right.
They're trying to make it. They're trying to make it normal. They're trying to say now that even if you're attracted to kids, it doesn't make you a pedophile because you're not acting on it.
Right.
They're eventually going to make that part of the LQBG, although make
bacon,
that part of the lineup.
Just call it the bacon, lettuce, tomato. That's all.
That's what they're trying to do. To me, I just say to myself, leave the kids alone. When I saw them trying to inject the kids at 5 years old with the virus, with the vaccine, I'm like, leave the kids alone.
Well, Epic Times, they came out with an article. All the kids that have been vaccinated, I think it was 69% now, have been flagged for having enlarged hearts. We're talking little kids, like 10 and down, kids. Yeah, 69% have enlarged hearts, and it's because of the vaccine.
They're not going to make it. No. That's heart disease. Your heart is growing because it's trying to pump and work when it's not working right. It's struggling to survive.
And they're kids. So but look, man, here's one of my things that what really grinds my gears. It's a mandate. It's not a law. It's a mandate. So I don't know why these people go crazy over a mandate. You know what I mean? It's not a law. It's Sleepy Joe going, oh, I want you to do this. And then he doesn't know what he said 10 seconds later. I'm not going to do it. It's just that simple. Well, look, man, enough. We got to bring on Bruce. Who we got first? Bruce?
Bruce.
All right.
Bruce and Patty.
Bruce and Patty. All right, so we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to bring on Bruce and Patty. He's got a 77 Disco Nova, so we're going to talk about that. And it's Pro Street. So, Brad, hit it.
What you need to do is check out DEI, Design Engineering Incorporated. They keep the heat out so you're not sweating to death. Check them out.
Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Patty.
Hey.
John,
How you doing?
Good.
John, do you want to correct him to Nova first, or you want me?
Do I what?
Correct him on the year to Nova.
Yeah, hell,
What year the Nova is. It's a
do whatever you
77,
want, Bruce.
76. It's a Disco
It's a
Nova. I don't care.
76.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
bicentennial.
Yeah.
You bet bicentennial.
It's a bicentennial car.
No, it
Bruce,
isn't.
It was white with a red interior. Now it's black. It's okay. Black cars matter. Black cars matter, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Black toolboxes matter too.
I got a red one. Oh,
I'm wondering if Lou was toking the 420 before he came on because he doubled up on the Tylenol. I don't know what's going on there. Either way, cheers.
So, Bruce, tell us about your car. Tell us about your Disco Nova.
well, it was my father's car. He bought it brand new, and I was 16 when he bought it. I was with him. It was white with dog dish hubcaps. Didn't even have a radio in it. I thought it was the ugliest car on God's green earth. I was a 16-year-old kid. And the first thing I was wondering is why my parents are buying a two-door. Fast forward to 43 years ago today, my father decides to order a 1980 Chevy Citation, and I made a deal with him. I traded my 74 Nova with a six-banger for his Nova because it had a V8 in it.
Right.
And the rest is history. I've had it 43 years as of today. I don't ever see me getting rid of it. As a matter of fact, I have one of my best friends who actually helps me now that I'm hurting. I'm actually going to leave the car to his son. So, but yes, cool. And I've done everything to the car. The only thing I didn't personally do is paint it. I did the interior. I built most of the engines, and I actually just put a new engine in it now, a 383. Well, really a 385, but my wife actually helped me build that engine. We met because of the car at cruise nights. She had a 70 Nova. The car's been part of our lives for so many years.
That's her car there. Ain't that her car?
Yes, and that's her father's car in the background.
That's when I had the 2.4 cross ram on it.
I gotta tell you, Bruce. I think her Nova's better looking than your Nova.
Yeah,
Bruce.
well, I didn't want. You know what, Bruce? I think we need to talk to Patty more than you. I mean, clearly, she's the cool one in the relationship.
hey, she taught me about power valves. When I first met her, we were messing with a Holly, and she said something about power valves, and she taught me how to take a vacuum gauge and check it and all that. Because she was a book nerd. She read books like they were going out of style, and she could recite it and everything. So it was great. I mean, we fit good together. If you'd have saw us the last couple weekends building this motor, and we were side by side, she put the rings on, the pistons, and put all the pistons together.
Headers on, I'm putting a drive shaft in.
Yeah, she was right there with us. So
that's awesome.
You were quality control. Bruce was. He was watching over your shower and had nothing to say.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
why I just asked. Now I know what the hell I'm doing. Do you mind?
Back to your Nova.
Huh?
Back to Patty's Nova. It's a real SS, was it not? I don't care about Bruce. We're gonna push Bruce out of camera. Was it a real SS that you had?
No, it was a 6-cylinder Power Glide.
Oh,
still, it's a good looking car.
The chrome around the windows, usually.
Yeah, I swapped it over to the V8 and, put a 350 turbo in it. My father used to always yell at me for doing burnouts in front of the house. He goes, "You're going to drop that transmission out, and I'm going to take it and wrap it around your head." Okay,
You
Pop.
weren't doing neutral drops, were you? You were power breaking it, right?
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I had a buddy would do neutral drops in his dad's Cadillac
Oh,
all the time. I'm like,
God.
dude, like, you're definitely going to drop that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Man.
But he didn't. It hung in there. Kicked the crap out of it.
Jeez.
So you guys met at a car show?
Well, cruise night. We were a local cruise night we started going to, and we hit it off and were friends. We actually became real good friends at first. I met her and her father at the same time. And it was the funny thing was my friend liked her. And I didn't say nothing. And finally one night we had stopped to visit, and her mother talked to me and ignored him the whole time. When we left, I looked at him. He goes, "You might as well ask her out. She don't want me." I said, "I don't think there's nothing." And went from there, and I asked her out, and we've been together ever since.
Let's get Patty's version of that same.
Yeah.
What really happened? What was his pickup line? What was he saying?
First my race car.
Side by side with stuff, you know. He always yelled at me for showing off driving.
Oh,
The first time I rode her car, every time she took off, she floored it. And she just drove like crazy. And I looked at her, I says, "You don't have to show off. I know the car will run. I'm not showing off. This is the way I drive."
See, John, that was Patty's pickup line.
Yeah.
That was Patty's pickup line.
My mom and dad for the first time with me in the car.
Yeah.
I had a 402 big block in the car, and it was a pretty healthy, and I had a long petcock on the oil pan that you could drain a little bit of oil light to check magnet and all that. Well, I stomped it, and the car had 90-10 shocks, and it jumped up in the air. And when I let off of it, come down, it knocked that oil plug out.
Yeah.
And then here I am with an oil dripping out of the car, and up on the highway, had to call her dad to have him come get us with a plug and put some oil in. And she's never let me live that down since.
I wouldn't let you live it down either, Bruce.
I saw the video of you guys backing out of the driveway with the new motor. It sounded like it had a radical cam in it. How'd you make out? Because I see what I see, but I don't see everything.
I love it. It's the Comp 292 cam. I have the Vitek fuel injection on it, which that's a whole nother story. I got sponsored by them. They sent me everything, and I always try to make sure I put on Instagram and all that. And I actually tagged the company with this so that they might see me on here. Yeah. But it fired up. It was the easiest break-in of a cam I've ever had. I fired it up, run 2,500 for 25 minutes. Water temperature never went over 180. The air fuel ratio stayed at 14.3 the whole time. Headers didn't turn cherry red, and there was no smoke floating off the engine. It was just so amazing how smooth it was. After we broke the cam in, let it idle, set timing. It's got spark knock because it's probably 11-1. I'm going to have to put additive in it, and I don't care. We've decided. I'm 62. She'll be 60. We only live once, so we're going to live it. And we love cars. I had a radical motor in it, went mild, and I was tired of it. The car looked bad, but people would hear it, and it's like, yeah, that ain't nothing. Now I want them to hear it. And
we drive the car. I mean,
it's not a trailer queen. It doesn't see a trailer unless it's broke.
No.
Well, Patty, you build a great engine then.
I can say I honestly contributed to building a great. I can purchase a lot of parts and everything. So, but no, I mean, we did the Hot Rod Power Tour to Florida and back. We've been up to Syracuse, Burlington, Vermont, Richmond. I mean, we don't hesitate to drive it.
Wow, that's awesome. That is.
I was a blue collar man. I worked for a living. I worked for the state of Delaware as a mechanic. I worked on snowplows, and I didn't have all that expendable money. And building the car, I had to learn how to do the stuff because I couldn't afford to pay somebody. I built the car in a single car garage at my mom and dad's, and we if you saw this garage, you could hardly move in it. And I was lucky. I was fortunate. I had friends that were body men, and a friend of mine helped me with the body work and painted it. And it's just one of them things that you'll always try to keep friends around. But my problem was that all my friends were mechanics. So how do you trade? How do you barter with a mechanic?
Yeah.
But, But
we always worked on it together. We weren't even married yet. We were pulling the engine out of an older one he had to swap in. And I'm out there underneath it, undoing the transmission lines. Transmission fluid all in my hair. His mom come out having a fit. Oh my God! I said, "What? It's conditioner. It ain't hurting nothing. It feels good."
Conditioner. There you go.
I also got to thank my brothers. I'm the youngest of three. My oldest brother was a mechanic. He was in Vietnam as a mechanic. I looked up to him like he was the greatest thing in the world. And my middle brother done a lot for me. They didn't do work for me, but they worked with me. Yeah. My oldest brother set the rear end up in it. It was the funniest thing in the world. It's a 12-bolt rear. I don't have no 9-inch. And the posi unit in it, we put in it probably 30 years ago. And I got it from a friend for $20. He said it ain't no good. My brother looked at it. He goes, "Ain't nothing wrong with it. Just needs to be shimmed up." He shimmed it up. We stuck it in, put straight gear oil. I've never run additive. And people used to think my car has something wrong with it because when you back into it, it would do that snapping.
Yep.
No big deal to me. I mean, I know what it was. I know what the additive is for. It's to make it slip.
Yeah.
But I've always ran it up, and it's been in till this day. And I run 456 gears.
Damn.
But I got a 204R overdrive trans.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't much about the car that I haven't touched. I've had the car so far apart. I've had all the windows out of it. The funniest thing in the world, there was a big car show in Harrington, Delaware, and they had a cutoff of 72. And I was like, I contacted the president of the club. I said, "Why can't I bring my car?" He goes, "It's too new." I said, "Well, I've had my car as far apart as your car." I said, "So what's the difference?" My car is hand built too. And he got up and he told me to bring it. And I was like, okay. And then I ended up winning an award. So the year after that, they changed the rulings and said anything Pro Street. But that was one of the issues I always had for so many years because it's a 76.
Right.
They said, "Oh, it's too new. That's not a muscle car." Well, it's not a muscle car. It's a Pro Street.
I see ladder bar 4-link. Would you believe it's got leaf springs on it?
Got the factory leaf springs. They've been moved over. It's got competition engineering, rear rails. It's got the connectors. I use the factory leaf springs. I'd really like to get into some Caltrax. I have a good friend who races with Caltrax. Got one of the fastest small blocks.
I'm thinking Ron Rhodes.
Ron Rhodes is a real good friend of mine. He races a Camaro, but
did you see last week's Scott Sullivan?
Yes, and something else I want to say. He was a big influence on me. He painted a Nova like mine that I saw in a magazine, and I loved that car so much that it was a 75, and that was one of the key things why I wanted to do that car like that. And he's friends with me on Facebook. And I've always liked every car he's ever built. I love the Cheese Whiz when he did the trip across country and he had trouble with the front tires and the weight rating and all that. I took that all in the heart with my own car. I made sure that my tires were rated for the right tires.
Yeah.
He's an awesome painter. I love the 67 though, with everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm also friends with some of the others like Matt and Debbie Hayes and Rocky and Mark Grimes, all of them. I try to follow all the Pro Street because the West Coast guys keep trying to say it's dead. It ain't dead. There's tons of things.
That's Lou.
I say it's dead just to get everybody annoyed.
I said I lose it at one time and I was going to scream at him.
You can't.
Hey, Hey, Bruce, Patty, we got to cut you guys loose because we got two more guests
I
we gotta
know.
get on here.
No, listen. I got one more thing. I got one more thing.
Do one more thing then. All right. You can tell Rob that you was one more thing. Go ahead.
We got time for Rob. Bruce, how's your back? How's your back?
It hurts like a son of a gun. Thank you to you. Thank you to Lou. You two are godsend. If anybody wants to know, I asked John if he could get me in touch with Lou. I have some of the same problems Lou was having. He called me personally, took the time to talk to me about my issues. I have an appointment. I'm getting operated on May 9th. I've had all the pre-surgery stuff. I only have one more pre-surgery thing to do. They're going to fuse L4, L5, and S1. I can't wait to have it done. I'm tired of hurting.
Yeah.
But Ocean City, Maryland's the Cruise in Ocean City, that's like one of his favorite shows. It's the following weekend. He can't drive for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's really upset. I'm like, I got no problem driving.
I'll be
right. Just remember, don't overdo it.
I want to follow everything. I'm going to do everything that doctor says. And again, thank you to both of you. You saved me. So
Yeah,
I want to tell you thank you because I know you tune in. I see your comments, and we just had to have you on to talk about your Nova.
I've been following you ever since your first episode.
we don't miss the Wednesday night.
I was a Lou fan from Muscle Car days, and him and Jarrett. I love Jarrett and Tara.
We'll look for you Johnny, up at Chevy Carlisle. You plan on going to that?
Right now I'm not planning on going anywhere because I'm waiting 90 days.
Yeah.
The doctor told me that he didn't want me driving for 90 days because everything has got to grow back in my back. So
sure.
I'm doing good, but I'm not going to take the chance. And
That's the way to do it.
And I got to do, my thing is I'm going to, after the 90 days, I'm going to have to make some, like 2-hour trips just to see if I can make it. I don't know.
Right.
Like, this weekend is the Good Guys show in Raleigh, and I might try to do it, but I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah, don't push it,
Exactly. I don't need to, because the one thing I've noticed, if I overdo it, I'm down the next day.
Right.
Like the other day I twisted wrong and I was in bed. Because everything is still healing. And the weird thing is, and I'm telling you, it's going to be weird. The first couple times you screw up and do something like twist, you'll feel the screws pulling. And you'll know to stop. You'll know to stop, Bruce. You'll know. You will know.
We'll be thinking about you guys. We'll be thinking about you guys. May 9th.
Well, I'm always contacting you, John, and you know that. I just
appreciate
you're just one of the guys. Thanks, now.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us on. That was great.
Thanks.
And remember, Patty, go easy on them. Use the reverse cowgirl. You'll be fine.
I know.
I know silver away.
All right, you guys have a great time. We're gonna bring in our next guest, John. Are we going to a commercial for our next guest, or are we just bringing him on? What are we doing?
Bring him on.
All right, just bring him on. Brad, bring in the next guest. Bring him in. Rob,
hey guys.
What's
there
happening? What are you doing, Rob?
Man, hanging out listening to you guys.
Pre-show, Rob's like, I don't know what I'm getting into here.
Yeah.
220, 420, whatever it takes.
76 Novas. It's all over the place.
When Rob sent his stuff in, I forget where it probably was at SEMA where I saw your work. And I also saw, I think it was that guy that took Lou's spot, Brian Fuller, that was posting about it.
Yeah, we met Brian in 19 at SEMA. That was the first time we'd ever been, even as a spectator. We went as a exhibitor, so we jumped into the fire,
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It actually opened the door for us and kind of put us on a national stage that we really weren't before then. So
let's you're out of Jonesboro, Arkansas.
That's correct.
Arkansas.
I got family that's from there. I've been through Jonesboro. There used to be, I don't know if it's still there, on the main drag, there was a guy that sold the Ford GTs, all exotic shit out there.
Oh, Shelby.
Shelby
Smith.
Shelby Smith?
Yeah.
Shelby Smith.
They had this was early, like 06, 07. They had a Heritage with less than 100 miles on it. Plastic still in the seats. I could have got it, Lou, for like $160.
Damn.
Right now, that car is like $600,000. The Heritage.
Yeah, Shelby is Elite Autos. Actually one of the largest Ford GT dealer, or he sold more than anybody I know of. But he's literally right up the street. Used to be my neighbor, across the street neighbor.
Yeah, if he would have hung on to half the stuff he was running through there, he wouldn't be working today. But what are you going to do?
He has some really cool projects.
Jonesboro is not a big place. It was building up. Everywhere I turned, it looked like they were building this over here. It was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. It's supposed to be, the hot spot.
Yeah, we're about 70, 80,000. So not huge.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Let's put up some pictures of your work so people know what you're doing, and then we can back into it and explain how you started things and what's going on. Let's start with the blue one, the blue Aygo.
Yeah, this was actually, we took to SEMA last year, kind of going back since it missed a year. So we took a 18 Tahoe, cut it in half, shortened it by 8 inches, put square body K5 quarter glasses on it, and then reskinned the entire thing with 72 K5 sheet metal.
Dude, that is cool.
All steel, except the only thing that's not steel is the rear hatch. It's actually carbon fiber. We took a tailgate, sectioned it all out, and radiused it, and then had a mold made. And we have a group up, Dynamic Corvettes, guys up in Michigan make those for us in carbon fiber.
Wow,
dude, that is awesome.
That looks like
we just actually took it to SEMA. Then we took it to Barrett Jackson in Palm Beach a couple weeks ago, and sold it there. Chris and Julie purchased it. They were absolutely they come to buy it. So
really
awesome guys. It was so cool.
How much, Rob? Tell them how much.
$192.
Woo! Bravo
for an 18 Tahoe, not bad.
Yeah, think about the hours that went into that though to make that thing work, because
that was actually the one we took to SEMA in 19. It was a prototype we took out there, and it was not really anything we could sell out in the public. So we ended up cutting everything off of it, started from scratch, cut it in half, shortened it up, and so scrapped it, started over. So
that is cool.
Yeah, we built that. I think we started in May of last year, and I had it done in October.
I love that, when guys think out of the box like that, because I would have never thought to take it. No. And I'll cut some stuff up, Rob. I will cut some stuff up. I would have never thought to take a new Tahoe and make it look like a 72 Blazer.
The quarter glass was the big one. The quarter glass, I was wrestling with it, trying to figure out, I knew we had to get rid of the doors, the second door. We had to do 2-door. Was going to keep it a hard top, fixed roof, because we wanted to keep all the safety. We kept everything, all the side curtain airbags, the rear AC.
Really?
Everything that was in the Tahoe is in this. So when we were trying to figure out what glass we wanted to use, and we were thinking about, reaching out to a camper show guys and seeing about buying quarter glasses. And I had an 89 K5 we were redoing in the shop at the time. It was sitting right, the top was off of it. It was sitting right next to the Tahoe in the showroom. And I'm like, hey, that glass looks perfect. I took it out, we laid it up there, and was like, that's perfect. That's what we need. So those were actually square body K5 quarter glasses. And we built the steel channel and flush mounted them so they look more modern.
Back up.
Cool.
When did you come up with this idea, thinking, I think this is going to work? Where'd this come from?
Yeah, we did it in, like I said, in about 18 is when we bought the Tahoe.
You did it on 420, right?
421 would make more sense the next day. Like back to the
decided
future.
We wanted to take it. We wanted to do something different, so I bought a brand new Tahoe at 8 miles on it, and that's what we took to SEMA in 2019, and basically kind of proof of the project, see if it was something that it was going to be, stupid, if nobody would like it. But it was crazy, man. It was nuts. It took a little shop like us in Arkansas, and we're on a world stage. And one of the craziest story I have out of that is we right out of SEMA, we're at the back in the office, and I get an email. Never call. Got an email, and it said, "This is Sultan. I'd like to order 4 of these for the royal family in Abu Dhabi. Send me your banking information, and I'll wire you the funds to get started." And I'm like, "Yeah, right."
That happens every day. What are you talking about?
So I set up a separate account and just sent them an invoice for 50% deposit right out of the gate.
Yeah,
it was for a $600,000 order. So $300,000.
And the money shows up.
$300,000 in a week. I got an email where the international wire was coming in, and come to find out, the guy I was talking to, his name was Sultan Al Mansouri. He was the economic ambassador for the UAE.
Wow.
Anyway,
he's no slouch. He's no
we
slouch.
bought 4 of them. Had to build. They wanted identical, 4 identical Tahoes. They wanted them just like the ones. Yeah, that's it. Just like the ones that was at the SEMA show. But so we built 4 more of them, identical to that one. And then we ended up building another one identical to it for a Chevy dealer out in for Derby Earnhardt Chevrolet out in Arizona. And the yellow one is actually was actually a Chevy dealer in New Hampshire, Ron Courier. He wanted something a little different, so we did the 69 grill.
Yeah. And that one's those other ones were 4 doors and
yeah, those were all 4 doors. That's what we started doing, was doing a 4-door conversion. And what was cool is we actually built the door skins in house. We hand rolled them, built wooden bucks, and hammered the lips of the doors over, and then we modified the door structure to match the profile, and then hammer and dolly them around just like Chevy did. And then the fenders, the hoods, and the quarters were all reproduction parts that we literally cut and sectioned to death to make them work. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were cool. There were a ton of labor. We just finished up a GMC Denali for a couple clients over in Memphis, Tennessee. They actually just picking up tomorrow, I believe. Rick and Diana Whitfield.
So talk to us about.
Yeah, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
The 22. What are you working on now?
I guess after deciding to do the 2-door for SEMA, the Tahoe, what we realized is that we never want to build another one. That was it. That was the only 2-door we were going to build of a Tahoe. It was such a nightmare. I mean, it was literally a frame off, cutting everything, relocating the fuel cell to the rear, extending the AC lines or shortening all the AC lines. So we kept all the rear air and everything, and fighting with the rear airbags. So in the middle of that process, we realized that, and as I mentioned earlier, I had an 89 K5 in the shop, and I'm like looking at it and thinking, why make this more difficult than it needs to be? So what we did is actually went back to what Chevrolet did years ago. They took a single cab pickup and they took a short bed and they made a unibody, and they put a fiberglass shell on it and made it removable.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're building those. I'm building had a rendering done, got Oscar done a rendering crazy rendering for us. And I went and bought a brand new truck. We cut the back out of it, shortened the chassis 28 inches, putting a crew cab short bed on it.
Yep.
And then
Brad, put the picture up.
Yeah, we're making a unibody. We already got all the weld stuff. The chassis is already modified, done. The fuel, we had to build a custom fuel cell to keep our volume up, about to match up what was in the stock truck.
Right.
We've already cut the back of the cab out, done all the reinforcements. We've got to build a custom shell. So nobody makes one that would fit that, because the crew cab cab is about 1.5 inches shorter than a single cab pickup cab. So,
yeah.
So we're gonna. So we've got to build it from scratch and then make a mold and make them ourselves. So
That
we're
looks
just gonna figure it
good,
out.
man.
That looks like it's a factory. I'm surprised
Yeah.
the GMC didn't knock on your door and go, hold up.
It's been overwhelming, the response from it. Our intent right now is to go into production with them in January. We already have the first 4 were sold off the rendering. As soon as we put it out in the public that we were doing it.
That's good.
We're going to build, we're planning on building 24 next year is the plan. Expanding our operation to move that outside of our custom, because this is just one piece of what we do. This is the custom stuff that we're doing. And we're also doing Corvette resto mods. We're doing, we've got 61 resto mod Corvette, a 58 resto mod Corvette, 65 Mustang resto mod. And then the one that I think is going to be amazing at SEMA is a 68 International Travelall.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
Totally cool.
I'm so with you on that.
Roadster shop chassis, LT4 crate engine. Randy Wilcox up in Minnesota, he bought one of our vehicles at Barrett Jackson. We met him. We struck up a conversation about, could we do a patina paint job for him? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, it's actually more than that. It was actually a full build. So we built the entire thing. The entire front cowl was all rust. It was horrible. Parts are like non-existent for these things. We had to buy an entire vehicle just to get a quarter for one, but and quarter glasses don't exist. So, but he wanted to make it perfect.
Before we get too far out, because I'll forget, JRD International, I believe they might have glass for that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did an international I did a 68 International pickup. It was probably 20 years ago, and they got me some glass that I needed.
Awesome.
And Johnny, the owner's tied into, I don't know how he's connected, but he's tied into a glass factory in Taiwan. It's like an uncle or something, or someone in the family is running the place. And if he doesn't have it, what he's done I've turned people on to him where they needed some weird glass. He's actually, if you send him one, they'll package it. You send it to them, and he'll get it made. The only thing is, you might have to get 20 of them, but in the situation you're in, you're still going to save money, and you could probably sell it, because I would build a Travelall. You know what I mean? I'll send you his info.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And they do like factory tint stuff, like on the Blazer, you got all that factory. They do glass like that for older vehicles.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And one of the things, we've been so blessed with this client. He is amazing. He wanted us to make it perfect. The body
That's so
perfect.
Cool.
All the gaps perfect, but then he wants us to patina.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. So it's going to be yellow, and we've already done a couple of spray outs on, actually a couple of test panels with the sand throughs and with the satin clear. And I'm telling you, the thing is just going to be phenomenal. He wanted to put rear air conditioning in it. So we actually took where the rear spare tire was and built a hard steel spare tire cover.
Yeah.
To hide the rear AC unit. And then we actually went through with exhaust tubing under the back of the truck, across up into the rear quarters, and piped it all the way up to the pillars. So the AC is actually going to come out right on both sides of the rear passengers. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
That'll be at SEMA this year. So that's a fun build that we've been able to build.
Yeah.
Rob, your booth is going to be Hot Rod Alley?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were directly across from Chevrolet in 21. It was kind of a lukewarm crowd. It was. We were in the middle of everything, because the first year we were 19 was the first ever being there. We were at 100 feet from the back wall and South Hall.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm telling you, it was nuts. We had 30 people in our little 20 by 20 booth almost all day. It was insane.
Yeah.
People cool. It was crazy. It was like paparazzi taking pictures of the truck. So
Did you have anybody from GM come over and go, okay, buddy? Listen.
We actually did. I had Tim Herrick. Tim Herrick was the lead engineer on the top for Tahoe for Chevrolet. He and another one of the marketing guys actually come over, walk through the booth, talk to us about it, and even it didn't amount to anything, but offered to actually do some crash test modeling based on what we're doing, but doing it off of not virtual, not actually wrecking the vehicle. Because he had asked, one of the questions he asked me was, "Have you done any crash testing?" I was like, "No, we made it here without wrecking." So
he's thinking corporate.
That was it. We drove it out. We actually drove it from road trip the truck from Arkansas out to SEMA with the entire booth in the back of it. Drove it in, unloaded the booth, set it up, and it was cool. It was a fun trip.
Now, Rob, you were talking to Lou at Barrett Jackson. No, I got you right.
Yeah, actually, I met Lou when he met Elio with LS Classic, and out at I guess the March auction, we were selling the '67 Corvette Resto Mod. Yeah.
See, now I know who he is when I saw him. Because John's like, "It's Rob." I'm like, "Okay." The one with the vet. I'm like, okay.
God power.
Yeah.
It was on Tylenol back then.
And then he goes, he's the one building the new Blazers. I'm like, I didn't say no new Blazer.
Brad, put up some of the pictures of the other stuff that Rob's building. Let's go through this. There you go.
Yeah, that's a 65 Resto Mod we built with actually one of LS Classics, their very first, one of the first, that was a Fuelie setup. That's an LS3 with one of their first Fuelie setups that came out. That's how we met Elio. He actually come out to the auction. We sold that car in 19. We took 11 cars out there to sell at Barrett and Scottsdale. And Elio actually drove it across the block for us. And that's where we met him and just seemed like lifelong friends since then. So
that's a good looking car. What did they go for? You remember?
That was sold for $140. It was a stock chassis car. It had Ride Tech front rear.
We got 18s on it. What size wheels?
Those were 17s. Mike Curtis made those for us.
Oh yeah, Mike Curtis.
Yeah, it was a Nassau blue. We wanted to keep it kind of just absolute classy. We kept all the stock interior and everything on it. So it was a cool car.
That's a good looking car.
That was actually the same color as the Tahoe. We used that same Nassau blue on the Tahoe. We just sold the 2-door.
Put up another one, Brad.
Yeah, this was the product of us selling a car and making a lot of money at Barrett Jackson. we sold my partner Jamie and I sold a 58 Corvette back in I guess it was 18. And at the time, those cars weren't bringing crazy money. Like 260, 250 was like it. Car brought like 350.
Wow.
Really?
Like over the moon.
Yeah.
That car. That's the car. And we're like over the moon. We ended up buying a 63 split window Resto Mod for $100,000 at the end of the auction, thinking we're just going to take it home and we'll fluff it up and bring it back. And we didn't. The only thing we kept was the fiberglass. We literally repainted it. We did everything new. And we did a twin turbo LT1 and made the hood vents functional.
Man, that thing is clean.
There you go.
Man,
it was so insane. That car was so fun to drive. We did an 8-speed. It was an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters. And it loved those little turbos.
Yeah,
so it was so fun. Yeah, we took it back in 19 and sold it in 19 at Barrett when we sold the 65 as well.
Wow, that's a good looking car.
That car looks good.
Yeah, that's somebody got good use out of that thing.
Yeah, that was my buddy Jamie. That was one of his ideas. He wanted to pull turbos and we kind of pulled on the Callaway Corvette vibe with the twin intercooler sitting on top.
Yeah.
Rob, how many years you been in business there?
Man, we not long really. We started this kind of whole thing. Jamie Jarvis, who's kind of a partner in most all the stuff we built. In 15, he and I kind of got the wild hair. He was building that 58 Corvette for me, the one that sold for $350. and it was a twin turbo LS1 6-speed, and he did a custom chassis, dropped the floors on it. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. So while he and I were building the car, we realized that, and we clicked, and was like, we'd like to do the Barrett Jackson thing. So we found a car, bought a 59 Corvette, great car, street shop chassis, already had a Tremec 5-speed in it, good looking car, red and white. We bought it and paid way too much for it, and put an LS in it. You know, we thought all you got to do is put an LS3 in it and you're good. And we did that, and we sold for like $115, and we literally got our money back and gave away all of our labor that we worked on for months. And when driving home, it was 24-hour drive home. First 12 hours, it was like, this is the stupidest thing we've ever done. We'll never do this. The second 12 was, all right, we got to figure out what are we going to bring back. And so we started building and deciding what we were going to do and bring back, and we've been doing it ever since. It's I actually started a little shop. I rented a little shop and moved out of my garage and started renting a little 20 by 50. And I didn't have but one car. I had a 66 Corvette that was all patinaed out. And 4 months later, I had 4 cars in there, and I had to move 3 every time I went to work on something. Then I ended up renting the rest of the building, which is another 5,000 feet. I thought, this is forever. I'll never use the space. A year later, I had 15 cars in there. They multiplied overnight. And I ended up buying, it was an old hot rod shop. It was built for a hot rod shop. It was 13,000 square feet, literally right down the street from my shop, and had paint booth and lifts and office setup and parts room. And I bought it really with no employees. It was just a place for me to tinker with cars, and buddy Jamie and I to go out and work on them, and have a place to spread out and leave them. And I hired a guy part-time for cash, and then another guy for part-time for cash. And then they turned full-time, and now there's 9 guys full-time, and we're building all kinds of crazy stuff and working with clients all over the country.
Yeah. All over the world. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the world now. Yeah.
What Barrett Jacksons do you go to? All of them, or just some?
Scottsdale's been our favorite. I've sold at Connecticut back when they did it. Sold a truck up there, bought a car there once. Palm Beach, this was my first experience at Palm Beach. It was good from a sale perspective, and we sold had a 63 split window wide body gray car that we sold out of Vegas. I don't know what year it was. I think it was 18 or 19, maybe 19. It was 19, October of 19. And I like the auctions. They're fun. Those are, but if you're going for cars, it's Scottsdale is the only one to go to.
That's the one I go to. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. It's where we were at.
Yeah. Now, okay. So who comes up with the ideas for the cars? I mean, like, you guys are doing some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Is you know, what's got like a couple beers, and next thing you know, you're throwing stuff out there, and
pretty much. Usually, it's the product of a road trip. Once we're going to a car show or coming back from an auction, it's something, or a project presents itself, and then all of a sudden we're off to the races building something.
Yeah. You got when that international gets done, you gotta come back and show us some pictures, man.
Yeah, I'm interested. We actually just pulled it off the chassis. We're going into paint in a couple weeks, and it'll be coming together pretty quick.
Yeah, I got a 58 in the yard. That's
really?
Yeah, it's a pickup, but I got a 58 because the one that I did years ago, I needed the hood emblems, and this guy tells me, I'll sell you, because I stopped in there and said, hey, the thing's been sitting there, you want to get rid of it? He goes, yeah, I'll sell you the emblems for $100, but you got to take the truck too. I was like, okay. So I've had this thing in my yard forever now, and and I want to build it, but I just never got to it. Yeah, they're cool. I like those trucks, man. I really like
it is trucks. So cool. We're actually starting on. We just got another project from him, same client. A 70 Cutlass convertible.
Damn it, man.
Yeah. It was the first vehicle for him, he and his wife, and he wants to build it ground up and box in the chassis, do all the body work, LT1, connected cruise. So
that's
he does everything right.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? You can't ask for more
LT1.
than that. You can't ask for more than that, man. You know, you get those guys that have champagne taste on a beer budget, and it's nothing but a headache. You know, you don't need that.
He loves something different. We actually did a little buffing on a 58, I think it was a 58 Olds with 4,700 miles on it. But he ended up restoring it because it wasn't perfect. He still restored it, but it was, and I mean, the car was phenomenal. Black car, front to back, just amazing. But I've got one of the buffers, Gatlin. He's just freaking amazing at the shop. So, but he spent like 2 weeks on this thing, and it would work in like a little area about 24-inch square. It was all and it looked gorgeous. It was freaking mirror when it's done.
What else do you got in the shop now? What's in your
right now? We're building. We got like C10 overload right now. We actually had a 71 C10 that we had bought. It was, you know, it wasn't a build. It was it was a 6.0 LS conversion with a turbo.
Yeah.
But it it just wasn't finished. You know, it was mechanically fine, but it, you know, didn't have all the little things. So we fixed everything on it, and we sold it to a guy. We're still finishing up on it. But we went ahead and sold it, but we sold it to a guy and took his 68 C10 on trade. And it was patinaed, and thought we're just going to leave it alone, just clean it up a little bit. We ended up pulling it off the chassis, redoing the chassis, putting LS3 in it. We completely repainted the entire truck and did a fresh, actual real patina paint job on it.
You got it up for sale? Is it up for sale now?
Yeah, we did everything. We shot it with it'll be for sale. We're actually planning on bringing it to Scottsdale.
You got AC in that thing?
Yes.
John's asking because he's looking for one.
Oh yeah, it's badass.
Hey Rob, there you go. There you go. You may not have to take it.
I was looking. Well, you can't see. It's got a 5.3 in it though. But I'll tell you what. I jumped on this thing the other day when I drove it. Scared the shit out of me. The thing broke loose at like 35, 40 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
And the guy said he's got a sloppy cam in it. He did this, dyno this. I'm like, man, I got a 5.3 in my Tahoe. It doesn't jump up like that. It scared the shit out of me. but I was looking for something to run at the Hot Rod Power Tour. And I thought, well, this fits, but it doesn't have air. You know, it's fat.
That's what I was actually thinking about taking. We were thinking about Power Tour. A buddy of mine, Jamie, and I were just talking about it tonight. I said, that truck, a 68 C10 would be a good truck for the Power Tour. It has air. And it's already lowered. We
That's exactly it.
Specialty wheels on it. We actually patinaed it. It was a red truck, but they did what most people do with the patina. It looks like, you know, 17-year-old with rust spots, spray painted spots randomly all over the car. We actually shot the whole car with a dark gray. Instead of using red oxide since it was red, we used a dark gray base, sprayed the whole car, and then we went back and sanded through the base, you know, and in specific areas, and some places just barely through where you really can't tell. Yeah. And then we shot it with a satin clear. Freaking phenomenal. It looks awesome.
Send pictures over that. I'd like to take a look at that. I'm trying to get ideas for the 71.
Yeah.
You're going to get a shitload of money for the 68 when you take it to Barrett Jackson.
Yeah.
But the 71 I'm looking at, I'm thinking him and I running through the Power Tour, it may work. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I hit the guy with an offer. He hit me back. We'll see.
Yeah, we've got a 51 Chevy pickup. We're doing an LT1 swap in it currently. It was a street rod pickup, blue, doing a full custom interior. That's the other thing that's kind of cool. Give a shout out to Zach Easley, Easley Custom Interiors. He's actually in-house. He actually, his shop is set up in our shop.
Yeah.
So he does his own thing, but it's so awesome. That white vet blue that you saw out there at Barrett, he did the interior on it, and freaking phenomenal.
Nice, yeah.
But it made it so easy for him being physically in the shop with us. So, you know, we could be wrenching on the car, and he's still working on the interior. So
yeah, that makes life so much easier.
Ship it off for months at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good deal there.
That's pretty cool, Rob. I'm surprised nobody's approached you about TV. You know
don't do TV. Don't do TV.
Lou knows a guy.
Don't do TV. Don't do it.
Don't listen to Lou. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, okay.
That'll blow your business up, especially when you got people. Huh?
I just turned down a job today in TV.
You did?
Yeah.
History. What'd you do? Let's talk. What did you do? What are you doing, Dick?
Brenton Productions wanted me to do another show, and I said no. I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to do it.
You didn't call me and ask me, bounce it off me, and go, okay, so I can talk about. What was the show about? They're getting rid of Fuller.
I can't tell you. No, it's not even a car show. It's not even a car show. Yeah, it's they wanted me to do it, and I was like, no, I just don't want to.
Say yes to the dress.
Florida.
Say yes to the dress.
I'd say yes to the dress, yeah, but most dresses look good when they're on the floor. So I just didn't. I can't talk about it because it's they're still casting, but they wanted me to do it, and I think and honestly,
well, that's a good sign, though.
I would go as far as to say that it was mine to lose. You know what I mean? I just didn't. Man, I don't want to go back to Florida. It's overcrowded. It was overcrowded before, and now you got more people coming in. I mean, I don't need. Nah, I just said I'm not good doing it. Yeah, so I'm gonna heal up, and I'm gonna probably go to work at the school full time. That's probably what I'm gonna do, and then get my shop done and get my ass back in the shop.
Have you heard anything back from History after you told him you were getting surgery?
No, I haven't, but what's her name? I got her name in my phone. She said she was going to reach out to me at around the 90-day mark. Yeah. So we'll see. It's just one of those things. Yeah.
We're going to be at SEMA. You guys are welcome. We're going to have our own booth there. We'll have a 20 by 30. So you guys want to stop by the booth?
Oh yeah. We're planning on going. We'll run a 3-ring circus out of your booth. It's not a problem. We can do that.
We had
the more the merrier. It's fun.
We had AMD. I don't know if you buy your parts from them, but AMD reached out to us. Tell the story, Luke, where he wants us to do the podcast from their booth.
Yeah, awesome. AMD's they're looking to buy the equipment because they want to do YouTube stuff. So they want us to come in, and they're going to have other people coming in to do their podcast, and everyone's going to get like their time. And then they're going to run podcasts at it during the show. It's actually a pretty good idea because if you think about it, you're going to have traffic in the booth.
Oh yeah.
So it should be good. So we're talking about that, and we'll make it work, and we'll go do the booth. Are we talking about 2 days we're going to do, John?
I don't know what we're talking about anymore. But you know what? If Rob wants to either do something at his booth or he wants to come over to AMD. And they make some kind of a, hook up some kind of business together, that would work too, because they sell the 6871 parts,
and they sell square body cabs.
Yeah. So maybe there's something there where you guys, at least if we do the podcast from AMD, come over, let's keep in touch.
Cool.
We'll shout out and promote both or do it. But when we go, we'll hook up.
Yeah.
And if we do Scottsdale, if I can talk Lou into doing Scottsdale in January, get his ass out there again, we'll hook up and hang out.
If I do Scottsdale again, I'm driving. I'm driving out. I ain't gonna fly. I'm driving.
Pussy.
It's a good trip. Haley will be there.
Yeah, I don't mind driving. I've gotten to a point where I stopped flying, so I'd rather drive. Yeah. And I don't mind to drive it. I just gotta. I mean, really, I got to see if I can do it. That's what I'm going to start working towards that in a month and a half. See what I can do, what I can't do.
You going to be up for the power tour if I start locking that down, or what?
I'll do it if we got to do it. Yeah, it's June 20 something. Yeah, I should be good.
12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then they want us to do the podcast from Memphis, the museum in Memphis.
Yeah, I'll be healed up by then. I'll be healed up. I just got to figure. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to sit in a car. That's what I got to figure out.
You can stand in the back. I'll put a pole in the back. You can swing around a pole while we're driving down.
I'm cool with that. We'll play stripper music.
In the C10.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Rob will weld that bitch in for you.
You have to work as hard as that ugly stripper on a Saturday night. You got to work hard.
One leg stripper.
There you go. Jumbo's Clown Room.
Got to get Troy Loud on the road.
So Rob, Rob, I got to tell you, I was doing a ultimate car build off. We're at Troy Ladd's shop, Hollywood Hot Rods, right? And his wife Davita comes up. She's like, Lou, have you ever been to Jumbo's Clown Room? I'm like, no. And Troy's like, oh my God, Lou, you gotta go. I'm like, okay. So they go, we're gonna come pick you up. So we get there, and Rob, I swear to God, this is where all the strippers go to die. Place. It's like
retirement.
It's not. It's probably the room you're in now is probably bigger than the whole place, right? And there's a half round stage up against the wall, and the place is standing room only, right? And I'm like, wow, this place must be really kick ass, you know? And all of a sudden, this chick comes out. She feeds some quarters into the jukebox. They get 3 songs, and then they're done. But the kicker is this is where they all go to die. Rob, this chick comes out. She's dancing. She's got one leg, and she's hopping around. I'm like, I gotta give him. I gotta throw money out. Here you go.
Lou drove her home. He drove her home. He don't tell you he drove her home.
And I need to get a T-shirt. I need to get a T-shirt. I gotta
walk her to her door, or hopped her to her door.
Phenomenal, phenomenal, Rob. Phenomenal.
My.
Rob's like, I'm leaving. This is fucking business. Check, please.
Well, you know that the congressional election for the district that has Philadelphia in it, right? The girl who's running for the Democrats, she's a former. It says on her Twitter bio, I guess it is. It says that she's a sexual abuse survivor, and I think it says former drug addict and former stripper. She's running for Congress. She's running in your neighborhood, John.
Yeah. I didn't hear that, but
I saw it yesterday on the news. And so I guess she put it on Twitter, right? Because that's what they were talking about, how Twitter is. And she puts it up there, and of course everybody starts chiming in. I don't, but this one guy turns around and says, when you lose, we'll go to your fans only page, I think it is, or OnlyFans.
Don't act like you don't know.
No, I don't, because you got to pay for it. I'm cheap. So somebody checks. She's already got a page.
Whatever. 420, 421, whatever it takes.
Exactly.
Rob, we appreciate you coming on.
Yes, we do.
Work.
Absolutely.
Nice work.
Phenomenal work, Rob. Phenomenal work.
Love your stuff. Looks good. We will hook up SEMA, and then January we'll hook up at Barrett Jackson.
Awesome.
I'll make sure John gets the drink package so we can drink.
Oh, there's plenty of drinks. I had plenty last time. Couldn't drink them all.
All right.
Helio, tell you.
Yeah.
Yep. Wrap it up, right, Lou. Money's on the
wait a minute. Rob?
What?
Rob's gone. I was going to tell Rob to tell everybody where you can be found.
Bring Rob back.
He might not. Rob, tell everybody where you can be found, all your handles, your social media, all that stuff real quick.
Flatout.autos.com, our Facebook page, Flat Out Autos. And we also have a website and Facebook for K5Tahoe.com for the new versions. So that's
all right. So Rob, you're done. Good night.
Got to hook up with the power tour. I forgot the power. If he's doing a power tour, we'll hook up.
Yeah, definitely.
The shit looks old, but it's reliable,
dude. Yeah, it looks good though. I mean, the thing I like about it, it's proportionate.
Yeah,
a lot of people do stuff, and it's like I'm sure they think it looks. I'm sure they think it looks right, but sometimes you look at it and go, I don't know.
That's a fake me out. You got to really look at that thing to know what's going on here, because you could tell when you get to the windows, you're like, wait, that's not the way it used to be.
Yeah, and that's exactly what.
Glass.
Yeah, that's what tripped me up. The windshield, I'm like, oh, that's different, but it looks like.
But it takes you a second to go, what's going on here, which is key, because it's not way out of proportion. You're right. It works, and that's what I'm saying. Where do you get that idea from? Because it does fit.
Yeah.
And to say to yourself, it will come together, and people won't be able to tell. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Well, and not only that, they're keeping the airbags, they're keeping the AC, they're keeping everything, dude. That's a lot of reverse engineering, and engineering on the fly. That's what that is,
GM's going to steal that from him. They're going to
Yeah,
retro back and make that one of their production go, look at this, like we thought of it, and bullshit on that.
But you know what? They won't do it. They won't do it.
They're too big to be able to pull that off.
Well, but not only
sure.
that, John, stop and think about it. Like to me, the Camaro, they could have made the Camaro closer to a first-gen Camaro, and it would probably be just as popular, if not more popular, and they didn't. They don't – I don't think that it's the corporate bean counters, man. I don't think they could do it. Plus, you got to do all the crash testing. So a lot of stuff is going to have to be changed for crash testing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, and like Pinball just said, GM's going electric. It's something like 2030. They're going to go electric. They may be in the, as far as I'm concerned, they're a dumpster fire right now. They don't know what they're doing. It's really crazy.
Gas. They'll be back to gas when you need to take a trip across the country. When you need to fly somewhere, you're not going to be electric. Gas is going to be around. They need to be able to replace that. Right now, they can't do it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
They can't. Trucking can't do it. When you got to go from East Coast to West Coast, when they get an electric car, it's able to do that. Right now, they can't do it.
Yeah.
I call bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Eric was just on. Eric,
I saw him. He's been chiming in. He's been chiming in all night.
Never got my package, my man. Never got my package.
So now when we drive through New Mexico to SEMA, when we go to SEMA now, and we're going to have to stop in and see him. We drive right through New Mexico.
Yeah. You won't make it to Scottsdale. You won't make it to Vegas. You ain't making shit. Whoop, whoop. It's like the time you were bootlegging for the guys at the bitching rides with the Yangling. And they still don't appreciate it. You know what I mean? I was like, Ken, come on. I'm busy. I'm this. I'm like, my mother. Kevin. Right? Lockwood, he comes on. No problem. He remembers. He probably he drank most of the case. Fucking guys, I'll tell you.
All right. So, John, say goodnight.
Next week, 57 Freddy. He is the guy that builds some of the stuff for Rick Ross. He's going to be at Rick Ross's car show. He's behind Rick Ross's car show.
There you go.
Check it out. He's got a cool story. 0 to 100. Self-made.
There you go. Gotta like that. And we want to thank Bruce and Patty for coming on. That's important. Yeah. We didn't do that. I got to thank them for coming on because we had a good time. And Rob, thanks for coming on. I think it was a good show tonight.
Our last guest, Mike, he didn't respond. So we had 3 set up, but Mike never responds. We went low on Rob. But
they basically both had a half hour, so we were good.
I'm going to try to make it to Rick Ross's car show. I'm trying to figure that out, but we'll make that decision next week. It's the same time, May 21. Who'd you say has something going on? Was it
May 21?
Hotchkiss?
Yeah.
Open house.
I got to talk. I'll call you when we get off. I got to talk to you about that. That's another one that might be coming up pretty good. We got
Scott's open house is what, the 4th?
5th of May, and Justin's having hip surgery. He's getting his hip replaced. I talked to him yesterday. He's getting it done at the end May 31st, I think it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is Oh yeah, I got to bump. I'll call Bob tomorrow. And when am I looking for again? The 21st.
21, 22, whatever it takes.
That's April. I'm sorry, I was the wrong date.
I think you said that Hotchkiss is open house at the same time, and I may do Rick Ross with Ed. May have Ed on with 57 Freddy next week.
Yeah,
you hear me?
That'd be let's do that.
Did you talk to Ed? He asked me for his number again.
I talked to him yesterday. Yeah, when I got this new phone, like 50, 60 numbers got wiped out. Ed's was one of them. And I didn't realize it till after we talked. Because I wanted to thank him for 57 Freddy, and I didn't have it. So there's a bunch of numbers that I'm finding out that I don't have now. But
that car show at Rick Ross's place, just to give you a background so you know what you're looking at next week. Rick Ross bought Evander Holyfield's old mansion that he had built. And Holyfield spent a shitload of money on this mansion, 280 acres, 60,000 square feet.
Woo!
Somewhere 60,000. That's 6,000. The White House is like 55,000.
Damn.
So this place is huge. So you get access. You go to the show, you get access to that. You see Rick Ross's car collection. He's going to have live bands, music there, all kinds of crazy shit to where it's a full day jam packed.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds expensive, but I'm thinking, if you're going to do it, that's the way you do it.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah, man. You need to go to that, and I'll take care of John. I'll take care of John Hotchkiss. We'll make that happen. Because I was going to just shoot some stuff with my phone, maybe bring a camera, just do like a quick walkthrough, talk, and schmooze, and we can post it up here. We can do whatever we got to do. Yeah, we'll make it happen. Yeah.
Go live on it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll talk to Brad. I'll talk to you. We'll get it figured out. Don't worry about it. We'll make it happen.
Money's on the dresser, Lou. We're going over.
All right, later. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys had a great 420. I'm sure somebody did. Next week, 57 Freddy. He's Rick Ross's guy for, he does the maintenance and all that stuff and builds a lot of the cars for Rick Ross. Tune in. It should be a great time. All right. That is it. You guys have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next week on 3 Lefts Don't Make a Right. Later.